And check out all of this bamboo right along this little fence line as I am walking into this Japanese garden. Welcome to Japan. Just kidding. I'm actually in Newberry, South Carolina. And this location that I'm starting the vlog off here today is called the Wells Japanese Garden. And I have always wanted to come and visit this place. It is absolutely stunning. It is so beautiful. Look at that, how pretty that is. Good afternoon, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. Hitchhiking Yeti here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today's going to be a fun little adventure as I am in Newberry, South Carolina. Finally, I have been meaning to come here for probably the better part of a year. And I finally made it happen today. And it is very overcast today. It's not the best weather. Rain is in the area. But we're going to make the best of it because this town is so beautiful. I had to come and see it and talk to you a little bit about the history of the town, learn a little bit while we're here, look at some of the structures and the buildings. Really awesome little place. And there's no better way to start it off, I don't think, than right here in this Japanese garden. I mean, look at this. So picturesque. Look at the architecture, the Japanese roofing going on right there. That is so cool. It is absolutely beautiful. So I gotta say, I really like the bamboo that they have planted here in this Japanese garden. But boy, you gotta be careful with bamboo. That is a very aggressive growing thing. It can take over in a heartbeat. So the Wells Japanese Garden. The garden was designed by W. Fulmer Wells, a Newberry native architect. The actual construction and landscaping of the garden was largely carried out by his father, Henry B. Wells Sr. Created in the 1930s, it's a peaceful hidden spot with koi ponds. It's got cool gates, it's got little footbridges as we're about to walk across one right now. And it's just kind of hidden and tucked away here in the town of Newberry. Oh, I like that. They got like some grip, some grippiness tape on the this little bridge. It takes you over this little island. And sure enough, you can see koi, like goldfish down there in the water, swimming around. And it's a very cool and brisk December day. A lot of fish in there. Holy smokes. They are living their best life. Love this little brook right here, this little waterfall. So peaceful. And I walked over here to this other little pond. So I just wondered, I like walking across the bridges. So these are actually cement bridges here. A little bit different than the one that I just walked across that's over there. It was more of a wooden variation. But nonetheless, it's really cool here. Now on this side, this pond here, I do not see any fish or koi. Up there, there's some right there. Right over there, they're all nestled right there together. Maybe they're cold. I don't know. Look at this bridge. Yeah, don't make a wrong step. You have to kind of take a side step to get across that bridge. As I can hear a train off in the distance. Really beautiful spot. Love this Japanese garden. Let's move on up to the uptown area and check it out. And welcome to Newberry. I finally made it. And welcome to downtown Newberry as I'm here on the corner of Wilson Street and Main Street. And look at this sign right up here on this storefront. That is vintage. That is beautiful. It says Good Sense Furniture. Even has a penny down below furniture. That's old Honest Abe, which, you know, we're not making pennies no more in this country, but they have one up there. That's really cool. And then right across the way, I am so excited because I love old theaters, and they have a old Ritz theater here in the downtown area. That is beautiful. I love this. So this here is the Ritz Theater. It was built in 1936. And it was designed in the Art Deco style, as you can see. When it opened on October 16, 1936, local press described it as a modern house of entertainment. It had seating capacity of approximately 800. It was reportedly the first theater south of Washington, D.C. to use microphonic sound. Oh yeah, I absolutely love this place. This is so cool. Here's the grand doors. People would enter, have the old marquees right here where they would put their poster signages up to show what's playing, I would imagine, or who's performing or whatnot. Have a little plaque right here. It says the Ritz Theater restoration of the Ritz Theater facade 2016 in memory of Valerie R. Aswood, 1945 to 2015. Man, I really like this sign right here also, this auto loans real estate insurance sign. Look at this, your private bankers. That is really, really cool. Still has the neon lights attached to the sign itself. Don't know if it works anymore, but it's still up there. That is pretty cool. And this place could still be in business. From what I'm noticing, it looks like it's still a functioning place. It's not defunct or anything like that. Right now it is closed. It says they will return at 9, so their hours are Monday through Friday. But nonetheless, that is one awesome place. I love their sign here at this place. Really cool. Okay, so right here on Main Street, we have a game store. And they have a population of 2 right here in this window. We have us a stormtrooper, and we have Darth Vader, formerly known as Anakin Skywalker, the chosen one. So speaking of those 2, let's talk a little bit about population. Population in Newberry is 10,219 with a median age of 40.6. And right here on Lindsay Street, you can find this very pretty wall mural that states the name of the town with some flowers kind of wrapping around the lettering. Very, very nice. Really like the downtown area. I knew this place was going to be a real gem when I arrived. All right, so let's talk about demographics. So the demographics here in town, 40.29% is white, 52.5% is black, 0.23% is Asian, 0.38% is American Indian, and mixed race is 4.62%, and other race is 1.99%. So next up, let's talk about income. So income per capita here in Newberry is $21,449, which is slightly below the South Carolina at $25,521, and the national at $29,829. And then when we look down at the median household income, it's $38,613, which once again is slightly below South Carolina's $46,898 average and the national of $55,322. Then we're going to go down a little bit further and we're going to check out poverty rate. The poverty level here in town is 22%. That's definitely a little bit high. That's higher than the average of South Carolina at 17.2, and the national average is 15.1%. So definitely a little bit of poverty going on here in the town of Newberry. All right, next up, let's look at crime. So here in the town of Newberry, crime is about 3.7 per 1,000 people, or 3,698 per 100,000. And that is definitely higher than the South Carolina and national averages. And same for violent crimes at 586. That is also a little bit more than South Carolina at 437 and the national at 359. Now we can break that down in percentages to give you a little bit more clarity of what that looks like. So total crime is 74% above the national average. Violent crime is 63% above the national average, and then property crime is 77% above the national average. All right, I made my way up here into the uptown area, kind of the square area. As you can see, this old, possibly that was a department store called Bergen's. And this is just a really awesome looking area. They got these cool little like brick pavers. And when I first came up here and I looked at this place, I was thinking, man, this just feels like Germany. That's what it reminds me of. And that is kind of what Newberry is famous for, is its German heritage. Newberry has deep German roots, celebrated today through festivals and local food and the architecture of the city. As you can see, very much, that looks like old school Germany, like Bavaria area is what this reminds me of. Yeah, this downtown area right here is amazing. I love this old market. Look at that sign up there. How do you pronounce that? Figaro? Figaro? Yeah, that is rad. Okay, as I stand here in front of this Christmas tree and the old courthouse, this is definitely a hallmark moment. But all that being said, let's get into a little bit of history about the old Newberry County Courthouse. It was actually built in 1852. Newberry's old courthouse was built by the same architect who designed the South Carolina State House dome. It was designed in a Greek revival style by architect Jacob Graves and is one of the most recognizable historic buildings here in the downtown area, and some say the most photographed. I would definitely believe that. That's a very photogenic building. And I gotta say, this is beautiful. Love the trees, the decorations for the Christmas season here. How pretty is this? I mean, this town is just so beautiful. And right here in front of the Opera House is a really cool statue and a monument. It says, this tablet is dedicated by Newberry County Post-24 American Legion to our comrades who died on the field of duty, Call of Duty, to our World War soldiers, 1917, 1918. That is pretty awesome. You can actually see his gun has, what they call that, a bayonet. Actually has like the knife extender on the end of the rifle. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it's there. All right, you see this clock tower right here. It's actually attached to this building. And this right here is known as the Newberry Opera House. Built in 1881, the Opera House is one of the oldest performing arts theaters in the Southeast, and it is often called the entertainment center of the Midlands. Big name performers still play here to this very day. Okay, right here next to the Opera House is this building. I thought this was very fascinating looking. Just spoke to a local. He was giving me a little insight about the community. He did not know what this building used to be. He said it just used to be some kind of a store. I just thought it was a fascinating look at the building because of that circle up there. I've actually seen that in other small towns before, but I've never had anybody be able to tell me like what that meant or what it was. And maybe it was just something that stores did for decoration for the front of their store or whatnot. But all in all, I just think it's a really fascinating looking building. Okay, so right here located off of Harrington Street is the Newberry Fire Department, or the old Newberry Fire Department. This fire department house is over 100 years old. It was actually built in 1913. The historic firehouse still stands and reflects its 20th century design to this very day. But I just want to let you know, it is not a fire department right now. Right now, this is the Newberry Firehouse Conference Center, which this was revitalized, I read, in 2007. So this is just where they talk about fire stuff and not actually run fire calls out of this very awesome looking structure. You can see the old bay doors right here where the trucks used to come screaming out here, I bet. Really nice looking building though. And look at this awesome Coke mural they have right here across from the old firehouse. Take some home today. That is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful mural. I love finding these Coke murals, even when they're not faded and ghosted, they're still just awesome. You know? Especially this little character right here. I don't think I've ever seen him before. but I have now. So another fun fact about Newberry, it was a major railroad hub. In the 1800s, Newberry grew rapidly thanks to the railroad and becoming a key stop between Columbia and Greenville, South Carolina. So one thing we know for sure is when the railroad showed up back in the 1800s, that really helped this town grow. Something else that helped it grow, it once had one of America's largest cotton mills here in the area. And the Newberry cotton mill played a massive role in the local economy and during the textile boom of this very town. And I come across this really pretty little wall mural right here. Used to be some kind of business here, but they have turned this into a parking lot now. And this is called Tiny Paris. How cool is that? Love these brick streets. I'm telling you, this is just so awesome. Just the architecture of this town and everything just is so heavily European. Big time Germany especially. Really cool. This is actually Tiny Paris is a wine store. Just walking through town with the streets looking the way they do and the architecture, and then every once in a while on the hour you hear this bell chiming. Yeah. And something else that's interesting about Newberry, it's actually a college town. As you can see right up there, Newberry College is in that direction right there. Newberry College is built in 1856. This historic Lutheran college sits right in town and known for its beloved scarlet-colored mascot, the Wolves. Okay, right down here next to the railroad track is this interesting looking old structure. Originally, this might have been the Newberry Milling and Distributing Company that dates back to the 1950s. Later, a different business was here called Martin Feed and Seed Store. It's what I read online. But nonetheless, I don't know. I just like old things, old places. And this place just sitting here next to this railroad track just called my name. I thought, wow, look at this place. All right, so I kind of left the downtown area. I made my way up Caldwell Street, and I wanted to show you this structure here. They call this the Wright House. And this house was built in 1912 by Mr. Wright, who was the 4th president for the Newberry cotton mills. You know, earlier I told you Newberry had one of America's largest cotton mills. Well, this is what that would buy. This is a mansion. This thing is beautiful. And right here on Caldwell Street, we're about to walk down it because I want to show you some of the homes that are here in the area. They are absolutely beautiful. As I walk down the sidewalk here, here's another pair of really beautiful homes, very nice properties here. It's fantastic. I'm just going to walk down here just a little bit further and show you this next one. And then we're going to wrap up our video, I believe. So if the president's house was the Wright House, I wonder if these homes were like the bosses. You know, a lot of times when you had like meals and stuff like that, they would have like a certain area where the workers lived, the meal houses, and then you would have a place where the bosses, the upper management of everything. I wonder if that's what these big structures here actually was. And that there's another really beautiful house. This white one, very, very nice. Made my way down here to the opposite end of the Wright House. As you can see it there off into the distance. It is a beautiful, beautiful place. And this house right here definitely has a German vibe to it. And it's very interesting. They got a little water fixture over there, a little pond. But look at that place. Definitely has a German feel to it. Very, very nice. And then check this one out. This is all right across the street from the Wright House, or the Wright Mansion, I would imagine, is the correct way to say that. And if you look at the Wright Mansion from the road, directly across the road, you will find this brick structure. This is very pretty also. Very, very nice. Okay, so I made my way over here on Main Street, but on the opposite side of town. And I want to make sure I show you some more homes before we leave the area, because some of these homes here are just amazing. Now this one is in pretty rough shape. As you can see, they got people here. They're working on it a little revitalization is probably going on. They got some scaffolding on the outsides of it, trying to make it pretty again. And that place is a beautiful big home. That is so awesome. But I'm going to show you a couple more homes on up Main Street here as we walk, and we're going to wrap our video up now. Just want to give you an idea of the architecture and the style of homes that you can find in Newberry. They're very old and classic and very beautiful. Look at that. Wow, that's very nice. There's big columns out front. Even has a little lookout tower up there on the roof in the very top. How cool is that? Okay, so right over there is some more homes. Don't know what time period they was built, but I would say the 40s maybe. Very pretty homes here in Newberry. And right there is another really nice home. They're just kind of scattered all the way down through here, down Main Street. A lot of them look very similar, a lot of two-story homes. Very pretty, very beautiful. And then right across the street is a real relic. It's a video store, family video rental store, right here in Newberry. But it's actually shut down. This was formerly a family video. So now I'm going to make my way back into the downtown, and we're going to wrap up our video. It's been a good one today. All right, my friends, I think that is going to pretty much do it for me today here in Newberry, South Carolina. Really enjoyed my visit today. Got to learn a little bit about the town, a little bit of cool history. And all that being said, I'm done, folks. Until next time, my friends, I am the Hitchhiking Yeti, and I will see you in my next adventure. Y'all be good and stay safe out there, and so long to Newberry, South Carolina. It was a lot of fun today.